Going live? I don't think Insta's going to work. That's okay. Oh, you are live. Maybe I am live. Alrighty. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tower Chat for tonight. We are, oh, good. It's working on Insta. Oh, there we go. Okay. Hello, Instagram. All right. Everybody's here. Everybody's at the party. All right. So my name is Doug Farrar, everybody. Welcome to the Tower Garden Chat. This is a video series that we do just explaining a little bit about the Tower Garden, but also giving you guys some tips for our current Tower Garden users. So it's a little bit of everything for everyone. And I've been Tower Gardening for about 12 years now, and I just love it. And you're going to see why in just a second. So I just want to welcome you guys for coming on, and I want to welcome our guests. I'll introduce them in just a second. But in this episode, we're going to explore a very common question we get as partners when people are considering a Tower Garden, and that is whether they should go with the outdoor version or the indoor version. Okay, what should you get? The Tower Garden Flex or the Tower Garden Home? What is the difference? What are the cost differences? Why would we choose one over the other? So we have some home gardeners with us and Tower Garden partners, Beth Pearson and Melissa Hetrick. And they both, each one of them has a different type of Tower Garden. So this is like a cage match. That's how we should have set this up. You guys are going to fight to the death. Tower Garden Wars. All right, so first up, we have Beth. Beth is a very active member of our healthy lifestyle community. She is a healthy lady, a health influencer. She's awesome. She lives in Texas, and she's a mom that's helping families to just simplify nutrition, eat more plants, and live a healthier and a full life. She grows indoors on her Tower Garden Flex. So, Beth, tell us, well, before we get to Tower Garden, just tell us a little bit more about your passion for helping people in general.
Thank you, Doug, for that great introduction. I think generally I just have been noticing so many improvements over the years in my health, and I just love to help other people. It's like I always find myself wanting to tell everybody about something that's a new thing. So I have been also having, I do events around my house all the time just to keep, so I can tell people more things about the great news about getting more fruits and vegetables in your body. As far as the Tower Garden, I have the home version, Tower Garden Home, and I have it inside. I know that some people can put it outside, but I ordered it originally in 2020, like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and it really, really helped me in that timing. But what I liked, the reason I chose that was because I found that I was a little intimidated about the idea of having it outside, especially in Dallas weather. And learning more and more about it, I know I didn't need to be intimidated, but I felt like if I just jumped in with something a little more put together, like this one comes with the wheels and it comes with the lights and everything was all inclusive. So that just made more sense to me.
That's excellent. Well, we're going to break down the details of it in just a few minutes. But first, I want to introduce our other guest, Melissa Hetrick. She lives in Pennsylvania. She is a board-certified pharmacist who's passionate about the relationship between nutrition, health, healing, mindfulness. I mean, she's kind of covering all the spectrums there of health and wellness. And in addition to being a full-time pharmacist, she also partners with the Tower Garden and Juice Plus company to inspire healthy lifestyle in others. So, Melissa, as a pharmacist recommending plants for healing, I mean, what's up with that? Tell us a little bit more.
Thanks so much. You are really good at these introductions, Doug. Thank you for having us. I think everything goes back to plants. There are so many holistic and naturopathic pharmacists and practitioners these days, and it's just a really great place to help keep our bodies healthy. And I have a goal of helping people come off their prescription drugs and heal their bodies with plants, with nutrition, with mindfulness, like you said. So it's really something I'm very passionate about.
Super cool. So although you, as a pharmacist, obviously you're in a position like I have to take a few medications, so you're fulfilling that and guiding people in that. but you also work with people and understand, how, and I'm making a statement. You tell me if I'm totally off, but I think this is it, that how we eat and how we de-stress and all that, and how that can put us in a position where maybe we don't even need certain medications, or it could address some of the same issues.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of things we see in the pharmacy world is taking this medication causes this side effect. So you get a new medication, which causes a side effect. Then you get a new medication. So something we always try to promote are lifestyle modifications, which is something, we promote in this healthy community. That's, something you said about Beth and the lessons she shares and everything that we try to promote.
That's super cool. Well, that's interesting. If you guys want to connect with Beth or Melissa, you can track them down. You can leave us a message on this, and they'll see it. They'll see it. Well, let's figure out. Some people might not even know what the Tower Garden is. So I got a 1-minute video I'm just going to pop on here, and then we're going to break down those different versions for you guys. So that's the basics. You get kind of the vibe, but now we got some real humans on here. And before we get going, you can put comments if you're watching this live. If you have any questions, just pop them into the chat, and we will get to them the best we can, as fast as we can. We see you guys on on Insta and on Facebook. So super cool. All right, so let me put a picture up here of what we're even talking about, and we're going to start. Share screen. I am sorry. Don't worry. Someday I'll be better at this. All right. So Tower Garden Flex, Tower Garden Home. When it's just a decision to make. On the left we have our Flex. That is called the Tower Garden Flex. That's the one with the white base. And then you look on the right and you have the Tower Garden. I'm sorry, that's not the Flex. That's the Home. On the left, the one with the white base is the Home. And the one on the right is the Flex. Okay, so that is the two different models. Let's start with the Flex. So we're going to go over to Melissa first. And I might have some pictures ready of Melissa and her Tower Garden. There we go. So Melissa, let's talk about the Tower Garden Flex. Tell us a little bit more about it and why you chose that model.
All right. So I chose this model because I've always grown up primarily with an outdoor dirt garden. My dad always gardened. He taught us how to garden at a young age. My first home that I had where I didn't have a tower garden, I had shade everywhere. I could grow nothing. I tried pots. Nothing worked. In our new home, we have a ton of sun on every side of our home gets sun, except I have deer, rabbits, squirrels, I keep trying to say raccoons, groundhogs. So all kind of things that just want to eat my plants. So there's no dirt garden happening for me here. So that's why I invested in the tower garden. As you can see, it's on my upper deck away from most creatures, although I've had a squirrel come in and take my tomatoes. And I love this model because it has a 20-gallon base. So that green part you see at the bottom is the base where you fill in all the water. And you just need a hose when you're outside that can reach there. You need a plug. I hook mine up with an extension cord. It uses minimal electricity. I did have to purchase a separate, you can see a little line at the bottom there. I had to purchase the dolly separately. It does not come on wheels. It also looks like in this picture, I have the extension set on. So you can buy the little white parts come apart and there's sections. So I have 2 additional sections to make it taller than 5 feet which is its typical height.
So that normal version, when it comes with 5 sections,
Mm-hmm.
and there's 4. So there's 20 plants.
Yes.
And Melissa added another 2 sections. So they're kind of like Legos. You can just stack those things up. So now she has 7 sections there. So she's growing 28 plants in a 3-foot space. So that's 3 feet around on the bottom.
Yep.
Which doesn't seem like much space for 20 plants. I mean, if you're growing in your garden, you probably need more than 3 feet to grow 20 plants.
You definitely do. And whereas I laugh because we say there's no dirt and there's no weeding, but I'm just a messy person. So I am always that's just me though. Like I always got my hands in something, but to me, that's like the fun of gardening. And I'm digging that rosemary there on the left. That was so huge and so beautiful.
What'd you end up doing with that?
I had to take it out at the end of the season, and I actually cut the roots off and I hung it in my kitchen and dried it. And then it hung there like all winter.
My wife just brought me home. I don't have any rosemary growing. Actually, I do, but she still bought me rosemary infused olive oil, which is
That's a great
delicious.
idea.
So I think this might be, is this yours?
Yep, that's mine. Yeah.
Okay, so notice they call it the Flex. I don't know if it's really called Flex because it's flexible, but explain what we're seeing here on this picture.
So what you're seeing in this picture is my garden that's behind me, but when it first started, so you can see the seedlings are much smaller. What I decided to do about 2 years ago was I purchased lights. So you can see the LED lights there. What happens is you take off the top of your tower. We call it the shower cap. So when it's outside, it's just completely flat. But I take that off and I just hook this light up. So it's one piece. So this piece is connected to those lights you see on the screen, goes right into the same plug. And as you can see, it has a timer and you set it for 12, 14, 16 hours. I have mine going on about 4 in the morning because my family would prefer it's off in time for dinner. It's bright, but it's not overwhelming. And you definitely need lights for indoor growing. So what I do at the end of the season, about November, I cleaned everything out. I got everything shiny, popped it in my dishwasher, got it clean, and brought it inside for winter growing. So now, should I try the lights? Should I try it?
Yeah, let's see what you got going here. Oops, let's feature you.
Okay.
I can do this. No, I can't.
That's too bright. We can take it off. But as you can see, we got this crazy bok choy. I love this. Some lettuce. If it's bad with the lights, just let me know. I'll shut them off.
No, it's all right.
Okay, we have some kale. We have some these are my microgreens. I'm not doing so good keeping them micro, but some Swiss chard. And then let's see if I can get this out. So one of the cool things with the tower garden. Ooh.
Some long ones there.
Yeah, look at this arugula. Does your arugula look like that in the store?
No.
No. So this has just been my most amazing plant this season. I'm also have some scallions on the back. I have some spinach and more lettuce seeds growing. What I love about it is I have fresh greens in the winter. So we have snow on the ground. There's an Arctic blast coming through and I can
So literally outside of your home right now, it's a blanket of snow.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And in the old days, I know you grew up gardening with your dad and stuff.
Yeah.
In winter, would you just not garden?
No, we didn't garden. I doubt we did pots. No, I don't think we gardened. I think
Huh.
we probably canned a lot. We canned a lot. And I know, I have a great aunt who's in her 80s, and I know she does things like she'll bring in the produce, and then she has a cold storage area in her house. So it's like almost, what would they call those? Like not an ice house. Um, like a little bit where it's a little bit underground, where she can keep like carrots that she grew in the summer
Oh, really?
fresh all winter. So nope, our
Well,
garden
what
kind
do
of
you mean
stopped, but not
fresh? Like
anymore.
they're just like semi-frozen under there or something? Or
I think so. I'm
that's
gonna have to
interesting.
ask her. Maybe she'll be on next time.
I mean, I know that's a kind of a cool thing, or like, the homesteaders like canning and all that, but
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I'd rather have it fresh than out of a, pickled or in a can or something. So that just blows my mind that you can even do that. So that
Yeah.
is super cool. Cool. So you use the Flex, just to review, you're using the Flex model. You use it outside part of the year, and then you
Mhm.
move it in, and then you get a lighting kit for that. So
Yep.
the Tower Garden Flex costs $670 if you pay in full. But our company is really super cool because, even at $670, if you really shop and really buy food, you realize if you actually eat like real food, like fruits and vegetables, which are most people that are interested in this stuff do, you can easily spend $55 a month. I can spend $55 every couple days, all the time. Then you end up throwing stuff out. You don't have to throw it
Right.
out when it's growing on your tower. You can just take part of that arugula she showed you and then put what you need, and then you put back on there and it keeps growing. So that's super cool. So $55.83 a month over 12 months. And that's it's kind of like paying for itself. And like my tower gardens, I have actually multiple tower gardens at the house. I started with them 12 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. So I paid for them 11 years ago. And it's after that, it's just like growing money. I'm not paying for my greens. I'm just growing them all. It's amazing. So, but then she added the extension, which is $95. And then she did add wheels, which is $95, which you don't need either one of those, but she wanted them. That's cool. Good to have options. And then she added lights, which I may have, $325 or
Yeah.
$27 a month. So it ends up coming to like, 70 or 80 bucks a month or so with lights on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's awesome. And how long have you been doing it, Melissa?
Just about 3 years. I think this is our third winter inside. And the other
Okay.
thing I wanted to add, and we'll have to see if Beth can let us know if this is on the Tower Garden home, because I actually don't know. But I have spots where I can put in a tomato cage. So it comes with rings that go this way, and then support beams that go vertically. So when you have it outside, you can support like your pepper plants, your tomato plants, the plants that get a little wild. So that's really cool.
Okay. I think they do have those on the indoor version, on the home version now.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, and we'll wait for Beth. Let's go over to Beth's picture of her tower garden. She just sent this to me a little while ago, so this is like a brand new picture, pretty recent here. This is the Tower Garden Flex. I'm sorry, the Tower Garden home that she grows with. So Beth, tell us what's different or unique about the home version that made you decide to get that.
Well, I think and I jumped a little ahead earlier, but one of the things that was very interesting to me is, well, for space, I don't have a large place, so I wanted something that was a little smaller. So this felt like it was smaller. Now, is it that much smaller? Not a whole lot, but it's smaller enough to make it different, make it fittable.
Well, I'll tell you, I hate to interrupt you, but I will tell you this. I know for a fact that instead of 20 gallons in the reservoir, there's like 13 gallons. But that more importantly, instead of it being like 30 inches wide or 32 inches wide, it's more like 22 or something. So I know when I have, I was babysitting an indoor version. It's nice because it has wheels on it and you can just roll it through doorways.
Yes.
But when you bring a tower, when there's a hurricane down here in Florida and I bring my Flexes inside, they're not going through any doors.
Right.
They're staying wherever you have them. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but keep on rolling.
That's interesting. I didn't realize it was that much of a big difference. So maybe
it won't go through a door.
Yeah, when I knew that when I ordered it, I probably did look at those numbers. But so I have moved it from my son's room when he was at college and came home for the weekend and moved it out of his room. So yeah, you're right about that. So I do also like that it comes with the wheels, the lights, all of that's inclusive with this package. And I think that's about $80 a month, roughly, broken out into 12 months.
Yes, the Tower Garden home with light. Now you can order it without lights, and that would be $725. So it is a little bit more than the Flex, but it has wheels built in.
Yes.
You know, and so that's nice. It also, a nice little feature that I like on it is it also has, I just installed one at somebody's house the other day, and it has this little floating device in there that has like a stick that comes up. So it's kind of, it's not digital. There's nothing, everything's so simple on these things. There's not a lot of moving parts. But as the water goes down, the stick goes down, and you can just visually see when it's time to add water.
Yeah.
Those of us that have a Flex, which I have only Flexes like Melissa, we have to kind of look inside to see what's going on. I honestly wait for it to run out of water, and then I'm like, oh no, it's out of water, and then I just fill it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I found that it's pretty simple to manipulate inside. And I like that if you notice on the top there, those top little ports, those are for microgreens. So we do have a whole section of microgreens. I have not been very good about using those for microgreens, kind of like Melissa. I let them grow a little too much, but I use a lot. I put my herbs on the top because I'm more into herbs. And then I've, that you can see a lot of kale and arugula. The arugula is amazing, and I also do a lot of like Swiss chard, a lot of greens is primarily what I do. I've done a few other items, but I'm just still learning about how to grow the things that should be grown, like pollinated inside, which you can't do, but there's a whole thing to it. So,
yeah, notice on Beth's indoor version here. So instead of what she was saying is, instead of on the base version there being 20 ports, there's 16 of the larger ports on hers. But then on the top two sections, look how close together these are. They're smaller. So they're made for microgreens. And now you get 16 of those. So she actually has 32 ports on hers. Now, just so that we're clear, Melissa, when she ordered her extension, could have ordered microgreen extension, or they even make a combination where you get one more section of regular and then one microgreen on top. So it depends on kind of what you want to do, what you want to grow. I mean, it's pretty nice like that.
Yeah. You were talking about that ball. Mine broke. I like stepped on it and it broke. So I'm now back to the old school, but
yeah, you can see it right here. It's this little stick right here.
Yep.
And that stick will just float down. It'll float down, and you'll just know when it's time to add some water. So that's
there's a line on it. So there's a line at when it's full, it will have a line. You fill it to the line, and then when it starts going down, you'll see like, okay. I mean, I think it should have funny stuff. Better add some water,
Yeah.
But there are lines that tell you it gets in the red.
Awesome. Well, my goodness. Let me see if there's any questions we got going on here. A root cellar. That's what Lori said. Yes, a root cellar. That might have been what that other thing was there. Thanks for joining us on Instagram. Feel free to put any question you guys have. But here's the thing. All three of us are partners, so we kind of know the questions that most people have. So I think we've been kind of anticipating those. Here's a real beautiful tower on here, but I want to show this picture right here. This one, I did get this from Beth's. She borrowed this from a friend, but here's an example that's very typical as we grow in tower gardens. You see here, this is looks like a leaf lettuce or something, like maybe a Boston, or I can't even tell because even the romaines are so dark. that everything's just so green and fresh and full of flavor. And then you have the stuff from the store, which looks very typical what you might get at the store if you got lucky, because sometimes it can be even more brown on the bottoms and it starts actually being clear. I mean, I don't want my lettuce to be see-through. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but when you can see through it, you got a problem. But look at this. Now that's lettuce.
Beautiful.
Now
You
let
know
me
what I noticed, Doug, about that. Sorry to interrupt, but I noticed that on the tower, I don't know if you two have noticed this, but you know, you were talking about when you buy greens and things from the grocery store and they go bad quickly. I have noticed when I harvest this, it lasts a long time. It doesn't go bad for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I actually put it in bags and stuff in my refrigerator when I'm to clean and then restart. And each time they've lasted for a really long time.
Well, there's another episode we're going to do on Tower Chat, because when I pick my stuff and put it in the refrigerator, I feel like it gets a little soggy. So not soggy, but it wilts sooner than I would expect it to. So I think it's the way I'm storing it.
Yeah.
But my solution is pretty simple. Like when you see this lettuce, this is something probably my favorite part of the Tower Garden. I alluded to it earlier. Let's say we have this giant head of lettuce and I'm just going to have a salad for lunch. I would literally just pick from the back and pick this leaf, this one, and I would pull from the back and let the front part keep growing. And then I literally am going to eat everything I pulled off the Tower Garden, and there's nothing left over. You know, it just stays growing more. So the next day, if I have another salad, it again has been picked like 5 minutes ago. This lettuce down here was probably picked a few weeks ago. It went on a truck. It was in a field. All kinds of gross things can happen during that process. We won't even talk about them. Sometimes I talk about them and everybody's like, why do you talk about that? Okay.
Well, I can tell you on what I've experienced, and I've heard some lettuces, you can harvest the whole head and then it regrows.
Oh yeah.
You get bumper crops, I guess.
Yeah, I know people that when they get like onions from the store, like green onions, they'll just cut them off and then put them in the Tower Garden and they start growing.
Oh.
You can do the same thing with basil and things like that. So it's pretty remarkable the things we can do. Do you guys have any final ideas or thoughts that you want to share before we start landing the plane here? Anything you thought of?
I just wanted to comment, and if you can see it, this bok choy, I have two of them, and I did exactly what you said with the lettuce. Because you can see I cut some off. I cut some off for dinner last night, and tonight we made stir fry. And like, it's literally tower to table. Like, it can't get easier than that. And it's just going to keep growing, but I'll just keep taking the biggest ones off.
Yeah.
I think a good point you added. Yes, this does not fit through typical doorways, which is why it's now in my dining room, not in my kitchen. Because one winter we had it in the kitchen. I had it filled with water and tried to get it outside. And I was like, oh. So we had to tilt.
Oh, it wouldn't even fit through because there's a door. There's doorway between the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not open, but
yeah.
I think the other thing that's cool about growing outside, we actually didn't say this. So two things. So you can go on the Tower Garden website and you can look up the Tower Garden home. You can look up the Flex. They have growing guides. Like, I want to make an herb garden. I want to make a smoothie garden. And they tell you literally how to plant it. So the plants are in their best position. It looks gorgeous. But I think another thing, and Beth alluded to this a little bit, flowering plants. So like, you can do them all inside. You just have to pollinate them. But outside, I literally can put a marigold in. I can put in, I think pansies and petunias, like you can eat, not petunias, pansies you can eat. So some people put them on their Tower Garden just for show or to eat, and really anything. And then you're flowering vegetables like cucumber, squash, tomatoes, that kind of stuff. Anything that's not a root vegetable can go in here, or a shrub. Like you couldn't grow blueberries, I don't think, right? Because that's like a bush. But I just think
I see people breaking those rules all the time, you know, and doing some weird stuff. I've seen people grow onions and they just keep pulling it out as it gets bigger, and they let the root go in, but then the onion itself is sitting up on top. But Lori did have a question about what grows well indoors versus outdoors. So are there any? And I'll leave that question for Melissa, because she's the only one of us three that does both. Are there certain things you avoid indoors or outdoors based on where you are?
The only thing I've not really done indoors, and we talked about this a little bit, are flowering plants. Last year, I don't know if you remember when you were in Pennsylvania, Doug, I had those giant tomatoes because I just wanted to see if I could do it. But I had to hand pollinate them, turn my ceiling fan on every day. And then they didn't taste great. It's not that you can't do it. I just, I don't think I'd take my time to do it again. I think indoor is really great. Like Beth said, a lot of greens, a lot of herbs. There's so much you can do with herbs. You can make your own salad dressings, spice up your dinner easily. I like putting herbs right in my salad. But I think that's the only thing I avoid inside. Outdoor is great for like those big, like viney things, because then they can just go all over the place and, make their messes.
Well, I think now that they've added, sorry to interrupt, I think that now that they've added the cage for the home version, like I haven't ordered mine yet, but you can actually put it outdoors. You can just take the lights off because it has the same type of lighting, shower or whatever you call it, a cap. I like that, the shower cap type thing. They have the same. That's the same option for the home, so you can totally put it outside. I do know a few people that use their home version outside.
Oh yeah, me too. Our friend Denzel does that.
That's what I was thinking about him.
Yeah. I think that was a really good point to add, that even though they're different systems, the lights are the same. So you can, if I got a Tower Garden home, I wouldn't have to buy new lights. I could just leave this guy outside for the summer, start my Tower Garden home, or have my Tower Garden home all year.
Right.
Sounds like a good one.
So for those of you that are learning about this and wondering about this a little bit, I'll just recap some key takeaways here. The home is primarily for growing indoors, has optional lights that which you could put on both. The Flex is primarily for outdoor growing. Okay, but they'll work for both. When it comes to recommended crops, here's right on this chart here, Lori. Indoor is more for small fruiting plants, baby greens, large greens, herbs, and flowers. Outside, large and small fruiting plants, large greens, baby greens, herbs, and flowers. So it's very similar. Included, this is good to know. The Tower Garden, when you order it, when we give you those prices earlier, it comes with everything you need except for water. There is literally nothing other than water and minimal amount of electricity. It comes with everything you need. It comes with even the seeds and everything that you would grow. They give you the seeds. So water level monitor is on the indoor version, but not the outdoor. Let's see. Extension kit with microgreens is on the indoor version, but not the outdoor. And then when it comes to wheels, the indoor one has built-in wheels. The outdoor one, you can order a dolly if you want. And it's a little more sturdy. That's why I get it, because here in Florida, we get these quick storms all summer, especially in South Florida, every day at like 3 p.m., you're going to get 20-mile-an-hour gusts with heavy rains for like 30 minutes, then it's gone. So I like the bigger one because it's a little more sturdy. It also has that flat base, the outdoor one, and that lets me put like some bricks on it and stuff to just keep it even more sturdy. So, it's you have options in life, so don't worry so much. But some of you might be on the fence, and we don't want you to be on the fence. Sometimes you just got to make a decision. And if you're, whoever invited you on here, just talk to that person. They can help you make that decision. And it's just amazing. So I want to encourage you guys to try the Tower Garden yourselves. Visit our Juice Plus website or Tower Garden website, towergarden.com. Engage further with the person that invited you here. Leave us a message. And we just want to help you have this option like we have for getting more fresh fruits and vegetables into our diet. So thank you so much, my guests, Melissa, Beth. You guys are amazing. Our next Tower Garden live chat is going to be on January 30th, Tuesday night. And I'm not sure what the topic's going to be yet, but I know it's going to be good. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thanks, ladies, for being on.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.